Are you ready to hear about the 9 cruise cabins that you should steer clear of to ensure fantastic cruising adventure? Before we dive into that, let's chat about the 4 types of cabins available on a ship. No matter which one you pick, the tips I'm going to share with you will be useful. First up, we have the interior cabin or the inside cabin. This is your most budget-friendly option. These cabins don't have any windows or balconies, but they still give you a cozy place to rest your head. Next, we have the ocean view cabins, which come equipped with a porthole or a window to give you a glimpse of the sea. Then we have the most popular and most available cabin, the balcony, sometimes called a veranda. These are the real treat as they come with your very own private balcony to soak in the fresh ocean air and the stunning views. And last, we have the suites, which can range in size from a generously sized cabin to an extravagant apartment-like space on a ship. No matter which type of cabin you go for, these 9 tips to avoid will still be super helpful. So let's dive into those, shall we? The cabins that you should definitely steer clear of on your cruise. The first on my list is a real pet peeve of mine, adjoining cabins. While they're perfect options for families or friends traveling together, they can quickly turn into a nightmare if you're just a duo. You'll be dealing with a lot of noise from hearing your neighbors' conversations to phones ringing and TVs blaring. Trust me, it can put a real damper on your vacation. One cruise, Terry and I knew the whole ins and outs of a relationship drama because the girl squad next door were that loud. If you're traveling with just one other person, I recommend avoiding adjoining cabins at all costs. You can easily identify them on deck plans, so keep an eye out or ask your travel advisor to make sure that you don't have one. The second type of cabin to avoid, anything under the pool deck or the lido deck. Now, don't get me wrong, these cabins might look fabulous and they're still really pretty, but just trust me when I say they can turn into a nightmare. From chairs scraping across the deck to people stomping around at all hours of the night, it will be loud. And when it comes to lunchtime or late night Caribbean parties, forget about it. You got the loud music, you got dancing and lots of partying right above your head. This can keep you up all night long. So take my advice and steer clear of cabins underneath the lido deck or the pool deck if you want some quality sleep on your vacation. All right, the next tip for avoiding a disastrous cabin is also stay away from anything under the promenade deck. This can also be like the lido deck where most cruise ships have a deck that goes all the way around the ship, and this is where they mostly often have the walking or the jogging track. If you're right underneath it, you're in for a noisy cruise, my friend. Cabins under the promenade deck can be a nightmare, especially early in the morning. You wake up to the thump, thump, thump of joggers pounding the deck and people that are walking around at all hours of the day and night. All right, here's my next tip. Pay close attention to those deck plans and avoid any cabins near the big public rooms. Trust me, you do not want to be next to the kids club. Unless you're cruising with little ones, you do not want to be near this area. There will be little ones running around and making noise all day and night. And let's not forget about the theaters or the lounges where events and shows are held. Those can be super loud and busy too. Plus, that's where all the excursion groups meet, so you'll have people coming and going all day long. But that's not all. You also need to watch out for those late night party spots, like the nightclubs or the bars or the lounges. If you're in a cabin that's above or below one of those places, you'll be feeling the beat and the bass all night long, even when you don't want to. So do yourself a favor and steer clear of those noisy venues. All right, cabin number 5 to avoid for you. When you're booking your cruise cabin, make sure to steer clear of any cabins near the laundry or laundrettes. You don't want to be stuck next to the noisy machines, then constantly being bothered by people coming and going, slamming doors and making a racket. Even though there might be restrictions on when the machines can actually operate, not everyone follows those rules. So it's better just to avoid cabins on either side of the laundry or directly across from it. Trust me, you'll thank me later. Let me tell you about one more thing to avoid when choosing your cruise cabin. You want to steer clear of those cabins with a view of the ship's center, like the promenade or the atrium. Sure, they might seem cool at first because you get a nice different view, but you won't have much privacy with people being able to see into your room. Plus, those areas are often used for parties or parades or live music. And trust me, you don't want to be trying to get some beauty sleep while a whole party and a light show is going on outside your window. Ooh, let me tell you about one that you may not have considered. Cabins with obstructed views. It might be cheaper because the view is blocked by lifeboats or tender boats. And let me tell you, if you're on an itinerary with lots of tendering, you'll be woken up by all the commotion and the noise of the tenders being prepared. Ugh, no thanks. So my advice is to steer clear of those obstructed view cabins unless you want to be serenaded by the sound of clanging metal early in the morning. Here's another tip for you. Make sure you steer clear of cabins near crew access areas. It can be tricky to find them, so you might want to check out some cruise-related chat rooms. Trust me, you don't want to deal with a service door near your cabin where crew members are constantly coming and going. It can be super noisy and disruptive with the banging and chatter as they go about doing their duties. So save yourself the headache and choose a cabin away from these areas. So here's another tip. Stay away from the cabins that are super low on the ship and that are right at the back near the engine or right at the front near the anchor. Trust me, you don't want to be feeling all that vibration and noise from the engine or being woken up at the crack of dawn when the anchor is being weighed. I have firsthand experience with this one. I wake up at 8 o'clock in the morning to this. Highly not recommended. Plus, it's a high traffic area for the crew members with all the hustling and bustling. So steer clear of those cabins if you can. Did I leave a cabin area out? Let me know in the comments if there's a cabin that should be avoided, or let me know a cabin horror story if you've stayed in one of these types that I've mentioned. I bet there's some crazy ones out there. Thanks again for watching. We absolutely love it and appreciate it. If you liked today's video, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't already. And don't forget to hit that bell so you don't miss any new videos from us. We'll see you around the ship, but for now, bye-bye.